In many parts of the eastern United States, wild boars are no longer silent visitors from deep forests. They move in herds, follow the same routes night after night, tear through farmland, and disrupt entire ecosystems. When numbers are no longer counted by individuals, but by herds, letting nature regulate itself is no longer an option. Communities are forced to take a more proactive approach, not through confrontation, but through understanding behavior. After weeks of monitoring, one critical detail became clear. Wild boars do not move randomly. They appear at nearly fixed hours during the night, stick closely to established trails, and avoid open areas whenever possible. More importantly, the herd consistently pauses at certain locations, not because food is more abundant there, but because those spots serve as decision points, places where risk is assessed before moving forward. In the survival logic of wild boars, routes that have proven safe rarely change unless strongly disrupted. In several areas, control teams deployed trap systems that use no bait at all. These traps are placed directly along mandatory travel corridors, paths the herds have followed for weeks, sometimes months. No food lure, no sound, no stimulation. Wild boars enter the trap simply because they are doing what they do every night. Field results show this method to be highly effective. In some cases, capture rates are even higher than traditional baited traps, precisely because the animals remain completely unalerted. In other locations, one-way gate cage traps are used as an upgraded solution. The design is simple, but it relies on a precise understanding of wild boar anatomy and movement behavior. As the herd moves inside, the rear gate closes automatically. Due to their heavy weight and body structure, turning back and escaping becomes nearly impossible. More importantly, this mechanism avoids sudden force, minimizes stress, and reduces the risk of unnecessary injury. This system doesn't rely on violence. It relies on the boar's own mass, momentum, and natural tendency to move forward. In high-density zones, more refined trap systems are deployed. Here, the bait point also serves as the activation trigger. When a boar lowers its head to feed, the system responds almost instantly. The gate drops at precisely the right moment, allowing the entire herd to be contained. This behavior-based activation increases accuracy and prevents premature closure before enough animals have entered. At this stage, bait is no longer a lure. It becomes a timing switch. The most significant shift in modern strategies lies in remote control capability. Using cameras and trigger devices, operators can monitor herds in real time. Instead of activating a trap when the first animal enters, they can wait until numbers are sufficient, or trigger multiple traps simultaneously across different locations. This approach dramatically improves overall efficiency while reducing manpower, time, and direct risk. Technology doesn't replace people. It keeps them out of danger and helps them make better decisions.
is tender and smaller than these guys. Called my farmer Sam, he's gonna come get them.
The wild boar problem in the United States is not a battle between humans and nature. It is a question of ecological management. When behavior is properly understood, control no longer depends on conflict, but on prediction and guidance. These intelligent trapping systems are not designed to eliminate nature, but to restore a balance that has already been disrupted.
That's a freaking huge boar. And then we've got
In the US, wild boars are booming across many states, especially in the South. In Japan, they're moving deeper into residential areas as forests can no longer contain their rapidly growing populations. How do you control a smart, aggressive, and extremely cautious animal while keeping humans and the environment safe? Let's find out. In Japan, wild boars are a top pest for agriculture. According to local reports, they cause billions of yen in crop damage every year. An aging rural population, a shortage of professional hunters, and the extinction of natural predators like wolves have pushed boar populations out of control. Local authorities prioritize carefully managed traps to protect both crops and communities. Farmers often use rice bran, a cheap and easily available bait with a strong scent that wild boars find irresistible. Instead of activating traps immediately, they build trust. For days, sometimes weeks, bait is spread evenly, and both trap doors are left wide open, allowing boars to come and go freely. After repeated access to a stable food source, the boars gradually let their guard down. They step deeper into the trap, unaware that the mechanism is silently armed. Successful trapping not only protects the upcoming harvest, but also reduces the risk of boars entering residential areas, where they could pose a direct threat to humans. Boars are not always careless. Often, not all members enter at once. Some feed while others watch from outside. This shows their high intelligence and vigilance, forcing operators to carefully time trap activation or accept catching only part of the herd at a time. Damage isn't limited to agriculture. Wild boars can carry diseases affecting livestock and pose health risks to humans. Heavy-duty steel cage traps are preferred in dense forests or near residential areas, where firearms pose high risks or are legally restricted. Cornered in tight spaces, boars can become extremely aggressive. Every approach must follow strict safety protocols. In some cases, trained dogs interact safely with boars through the steel mesh. This familiarizes them with the animal's scent, sounds, and aggressive reactions without direct danger. These dogs then play a vital role in tracking herds deep in the forest, where cage traps are less effective. Once a boar is securely trapped, licensed electrical devices are often used in confined spaces. Electrical control is considered safe and efficient, minimizing human risk and reducing unnecessary stress on the animal. In many invasive species programs, trapped animals are handled according to strict protocols. Releasing piglets out of temporary compassion can worsen the problem, as they quickly mature, remember trap locations, and continue reproducing. This is not cruelty, it's science-based, practical responsibility. After quarantine, these boars can be used as food or livestock fuel, turning a community threat into a useful resource, closing the wildlife management cycle safely and responsibly. Proper control protects today's crops and ensures the safety of communities for the future. In a small village in the southern United States, the nights are no longer quiet. Wild hogs have been moving in, tearing up fields, bending fences, leaving fresh tracks right on the edge of where people live. But this time, the villagers chose not to respond the old way. Instead of dealing with the problem in scattered, short-term efforts, they made a different call, building a shared control system for the entire village. One designed to redirect movement and reduce long-term conflict with wildlife. This time, the question wasn't, how many hogs can we catch? It was, how do we make sure the whole village can sleep peacefully again? The biggest change wasn't the equipment, it was the mindset. The goal of this system wasn't to capture as many wild hogs as possible, but to break their habit of moving toward the village. The focus shifted from reaction to prevention. Instead of placing traps in areas already heavily damaged, containment structures were positioned at transitional zones, places where hogs naturally slow down, observe, and assess their surroundings before choosing their next direction. These are decision points in their travel routes. Small changes here can influence the movement of the entire sounder. Each structure wasn't treated as a standalone trap, but as one piece of a larger control network surrounding the village. Effective control starts with thinking, not with tools.
Once you get this, go ahead and move that, and then another good tip. Very light, very durable. A wild y'all didn't have a trap. We use that camera as pre-baiting.
In the early phase, none of the enclosures were activated. They were left exactly as they were for multiple nights, allowing the hogs to approach, observe, and get comfortable. Over time, these structures became just another part of the landscape. No threat, no pressure, nothing out of place. Cameras weren't used to count animals. They were there to track movement patterns, pause times, and group reactions. This data helped operators understand how the sounder made decisions, based on behavior, not guesswork or instinct alone. By not rushing to intervene, the system worked with natural behavior instead of forcing outcomes. When animals don't feel threatened, their true behavior shows itself. Once the system began to take shape, small adjustments were introduced, carefully and selectively. There were no sudden blockades, no aggressive pushbacks. Instead, subtle changes slowly reduced how often hogs moved deeper toward the village, making their old routes less appealing over time. To the hogs, these were just different choices in the environment. To us, it was behavioral guidance, without escalating stress or unnecessary risk. When the cameras showed the sounder changing direction as a group, that was the signal the system was working. Only then were the traps activated, remotely and in coordination across the central zone. The process was controlled and deliberate, holding the hogs within a predefined safe area while minimizing panic and reducing the risk of injury to both animals and people. No structure worked alone. The entire system functioned as one, driven by data, timing, and coordination. A system is only effective when every part moves in the same rhythm. By the next morning, the village returned to its normal rhythm. No new tracks, no fresh damage in the fields or near homes. Life slowly settled back into routine. The final step wasn't a job done, it was a clean withdrawal. Equipment was dismantled according to protocol. Enclosures were checked one last time. Everything was transported out using a modern Ranger utility vehicle to avoid leaving behind the scent trails or attractants that could draw hogs back in. Only when the area was completely cleared of signs did the control operation truly come to an end. In wildlife management, lasting solutions don't come from confrontation. They come from understanding behavior, using data, and applying responsible guidance strategies. Peace doesn't come from how many animals are caught in one night, but from when wild hogs no longer have a reason to come back.